Hi, I'm Rick Rheins, Senior Rabbi at Temple Sinai in Denver, Colorado. This week's Torah portion is Re'eh, from chapters 11 through 16 of the book of Deuteronomy. It says, Re'eh natati lefanecha bracha uklala. Behold, I've placed before you blessings and curses. Of course, the implication is that if we live up to, observe the ideals of Torah, the ethical, the moral, the ritual behavior, then our lives will be filled with blessings. And if we fail to do so, if we allow corruption and evil to take over our lives and our lives and our society will suffer the consequences. Those are the curses, as it is translated. So we have agency. That's what the Torah is telling us. It's in our hands to choose the right way to live. And then in this week's Torah portion, it gives a whole host of ways in which we can be aware of the importance of our actions, the consequences of our actions. It has things, for instance, like a concern about false prophets, that we might be attracted to some charismatic leader who will be so captivating that you'll want to follow him or her, and you realize all too late that this person is a false prophet, that they were only a charlatan looking to abuse others. There's also concerns about the food that we eat, the laws of kashrut, and there's social concerns of how we handle sabbatical years and the poor in our midst, and how we are responsive to those who are least fortunate in our world. And throughout this week's Torah portion, there is a refrain of come to pray, come to worship, come to bring your offerings to Hamakom Asher Yivchad Adonai, to the place where God will choose. Now, of course, we know eventually David will choose Jerusalem, and Solomon will build the temple, and that'll be the center piece of our faith, where we would all come to Jerusalem to worship. To this day, Jerusalem is at the heart of our Jewish faith and a sense of our culture. And interestingly, the choice of Jerusalem, because it was right in between the tribes of Judah and the northern tribes, including Shimon and Benjamin, etc., it was chosen as somewhat of a neutral place. And in a similar way, this being the 250th year of the American independence, Washington, General Washington, President Washington, chose after there's some debate as to where the capital of the United States would be. Will it be in the north? Well, for many years it was in Philadelphia. And others said, well, it can be down in New York as well. And it was in New York, and that's where Washington had his inauguration when he was first made president, was in New York City. But the southern states said, wait a minute, it's always Philadelphia, it's New York. And there was a couple of places in New Jersey as well, like Trenton and Princeton. The southern states said, what about us? And so they found a place right in between the north and the south, Washington, D.C. Similarly, King David, chose Jerusalem, a place right in between all the other tribes, say this will be where everyone will know that they can come without it being so clearly in one tribe or state's territory or the other. What I wanted to point out is, however, because it says, bring your offerings, your sacrificial offerings, specifically the cattle from your herds, or the sheep and the goats from your flocks. Bring those sacrifices to Jerusalem, and that's the only place where you'll have sacrifices. You might think, well, wait, not everyone lived in Jerusalem, so why should there only be one place where there are sacrifices? It is because already in the Torah, when the Torah was written 3,000 years plus ago, that the rest of the world was doing sacrifices everywhere. But the Torah was saying something different, that you have a way of connecting with Hashem, with God, any place where you are. Hamakom literally means every place. And so wherever you are, you have an opportunity to bring offerings, but not of sheep or of goats or of cattle from the herd or from the flock, not just the first fruits of your harvest, but rather the avodah shebalev, the offering of your heart. Wherever you are, you can pray to God. That being the case, come when there is the major offerings, the major gatherings, as we have in this week's Torah portion, it goes through the major holy days. It says, when you have the major opportunities, come to Jerusalem. And so for us to this day, Jerusalem is, yes, the capital of the Jewish people, the capital of Israel. We can pray everywhere. Wherever we are, we can open our hearts and have the avodah shebalev, the offering of our hearts. But we still keep Jerusalem in mind, because there is one place where we can all gather, where we can all say, from the time of our ancestors, from the time of King David and Solomon through all these thousands of years, let us still look to Jerusalem to come. There are blessings in our lives. There are consequences for not living up to them. But let us find a way always to keep in heart the capital, the center of where we as a family started and where we will still have our hearts and our love. Shabbat Shalom.